In this video, I'm going to be discussing my favorite fountain pen cases. I'll go over the specs, tell you the price, and what I like and don't like about each case coming up. Today I want to show you some of my favorite fountain pen cases. I'm going to go through this pretty quickly because we have a number of them here. I've actually tried making this video 3 times now, so I'm hoping this will be okay. So starting with the single to the multi, the first one I recommend is the Lamy Premium Leather case. These are $39 for the single pen case, and they come in black, but they also come in a double and a triple with dividers in the middle. This and the Pelican leather cases, which have more of a loop instead of a magnet closure, are what I recommend to most people. They are very well made. They do a good job of protecting pens, and they're just a nice quality product. And these pens, or these cases rather, will fit big pens like a Montblanc, 149 without any issue. Just a really nice case. This is actually one that I use the most, especially if I'm going to like a cafe or something like that. Up next, I have the Montblanc Florentine leather case. I really just have this because it's a cool case. I got this for $175. I think you can find these used from around $150 to $250. It is a molded leather case, which is fully, leather lined. The whole thing is leather. They call it the Florentine because I don't know if these were actually made in Florence. It does say handcrafted in Italy on there, so they probably were. Florence is known for their molded leather. Just a really cool case. It does, wiggle around in there a little bit. You can clip the clip here. There's a little indentation for that. I don't really like to do that, but you can, and it'll be more secure. Montblanc very recently released the new version of this, which is basically the same thing, but doesn't have this faux crocodile leather. They want $880 for that. I don't know. Do not buy that. Buy a used one if you like the look of this. But this is really more of one that's just kind of for fun. Up next, I have the Montblanc Baby, their Heritage pen case. This is just a beautiful case, and I've been liking smaller pens, so I decided to pull the trigger on this case. I got it from Joma Shop, I think for like $175. Retails $350, but very nice soft leather. Just has some really nice details on it. I do think that Montblanc makes the best looking pen cases out there. Not necessarily the best pen cases, but the best looking ones. We have this Montblanc nib zipper. We have this Montblanc uh, nib sort of shaped attachment for this ring. Even they brand the crimp on the zipper there, Montblanc. These are really nice. They fit pens like the Pelican M300, one of my favorite pocket pens, as well as the Rouge et Noire Baby, the Montblanc Mozart, and the Delta Dolce Vita undersize. It is the loop is a little bit too fat or too skinny for the Dolce Vita Mini. Up next is a relatively new case for me. This is the Inden 2-pen case. Inden is a very old Japanese company from the 1500s. That would make it one of the oldest companies in the world, along with companies like Beretta. It's deerskin and urushi lacquer. It's supposed to be very hard wearing. The leather stops about right here, and then it's a woven nylon. And this will fit a pretty big size pen. It also has a sleeve or another spot in the back. So like for instance, let's try something a little bit bigger here. If I wanted to put a Lamy Safari in here along with my Montblanc 149, you can do that, and they are completely separated. I do really like this case. I believe the cost was around $120, so not particularly expensive. And for something, special like this, they've been making this kind of material for 500 years. It's pretty cool. Up next is the Caran Leman 2-pen case. This is, I think, one of the nicest made cases here. We have edge paint on here, this soft pebble grain leather. These are made in Italy. The leather from the flap lining goes all the way to the bottom. Same on the interior, on the front panel rather. And then it's connected to the front panel, and we have this thick piece of stitched leather with edge paint on there, and it goes all the way down. This is just a very high quality case, costs $160. They come in a lot of colors. I don't see too many for sale at the moment. I think Caran only has like the white one for some reason. These are really nice cases. The one downside to this is this kind of flap thing here. So if you use a longer pen, you can't really close the case. So most normal pens, though, are fine. Here's a Lamy Safari, which is a relatively long pen. You know, Diplomat Arrow here closes okay, no issues there. But this is not one for longer pens. I also wouldn't fit two Montblanc 149s in here. It's just not wide enough, and even that doesn't close that well. So shorter pens is the limitation of this one, but this is one of my favorite cases. It's just really well made, so I like it. Now the next one is a Montegrappa 2-pen case. This pen case, like, it's kind of started cracking pretty quickly, but I do use this a lot. It has a magnetic closure. It has this like Alcantara suede-like lining, fully attached divider here, and this will fit bigger pens like a Montblanc 149. And I think this Atelier Lusso. The Atelier Lusso is very long, so it doesn't quite close with that, but you know, two big pens in here. The bottom is pretty soft, and you can see the pens kind of protruding from it. But this is just a very nice, easy to use case, and very nicely protected on the interior. You don't have that woven nylon lining that you get on some of the other cases. These go for $145. I don't know if they still make them, but I still see some of them for sale. Yeah, the main downside though is like the leather. If this even is leather, it does smell like leather, but it kind of cracks. Like, yeah, not really impressed with that. Up next, I have what is, I think, the most solid pen case here. Like, this is the one that I would use if I was worried about a pen getting crushed. But it is quite bulky, so I don't use it, to be honest, that often. This is the Agean Leather case. I bought this on Etsy from Agean Leather. This is very well made. It is all hand stitched, and we have edge paint on here, and we have a little sort of pen tray divider, and this will fit big pens like Montblanc. So if I wanted to carry two different Montblanc 149s, this is probably the best case for that. You don't have to clip them in there. They will fit if you don't want to clip them. However, with this one, unlike the Montblanc Florentine case, I do tend to like to clip them. It's just well thought out. We have this little cutout here for them. Very well made, made in Turkey, very nice quality. And they do single pen up to maybe like 10 or 12 pen cases. Those start to get more pricey, but there is a lot of handiwork in here. So that's like sort of my super durable case. And then up next, I have this Van der Spek case. I've had this one for a very long time, and I really, really like this case. It is fully leather lined. It has these felt dividers in here, which do get, you know, they're a little bit on the short side. This will hold 4 different pens. However, if you put a big pen in here like the 149, I would say it starts to go down to about 3, but it will fit that no problem. It has this really nice leather that kind of patinas in time. This is the Janet leather. I think it's like a $10 upgrade, and this costs $81. I really highly recommend these cases. This has the nicest feeling leather out of everything here by far. There's actually no contest. This is the nicest one to touch, and it is, I say, only $81. You get to pick the different leathers and the interior. This interior leather was called Barbie, which I don't think they make anymore, but this Janet natural leather they still do make. And yeah, I really love this case. If you go for bigger pens, I would say it'll hold 3, but for more standard size pens, you can definitely get 4 in there. And then next, another case that is very good for larger pens. This is the Pilot Solms 3 pen case, and this has a pigskin lining, and then it has pigskin also on the front panel here, and then it has these sort of felt dividers. This is a very good one for big pens. This is probably one of my most used cases. It holds up really well. We have edge paint. We're not hand stitched anymore, but it's just very well put together. These cost, I believe, around $150. They don't make these anymore, but I know like TY Lee in Taiwan, and I've seen them on eBay, so you can still buy these. They're very, very well made. They're made in Japan, like unlike most of Pilot's other cases. Very good quality leather. When it comes to pen protection, I think, these two are probably the strongest here, followed by this one. This is one that I tend to travel with quite a lot. If you said I could only have one pen case, it might be this one, just because I think it gives the best mix of protection and just nice build quality out of all of these. The other ones I think have some weaknesses, whereas this one really just kind of does everything very, very well. So finally, we have the Liebe 10 pen case in this natural leather here. And this was a case that I bought to replace the Montblanc 5 pen sartorial zip. Now, this does not look anywhere near as pretty as that Montblanc sartorial zip one does, but this functionally is 10 times better than it. So we have this nice veg tan leather here. I shouldn't say it's that nice. It feels okay. It doesn't feel like a super premium veg tan, and I'm hoping it will patina in time. But what this case does right, which is so many things, it has these like suede or faux suede flaps here, which will fully cover all of the clips. And then when you want to take a pen out, you can pull it out without rubbing into the leather. Whereas on the Montblanc case, first of all, you had these really strong, like nylon elastic loops on a leather interior, and so when you'd pull it out, you'd have to be worried about potentially scratching the pen, and then putting it in was always a challenge. Now this will fit 10, oops, and I have a pen in here. This will fit 10 Montblanc 149s with no problem. You can get, I don't know if an Emperor will fit in here because I don't have one anymore, but you can fit really big pens in here, and you don't have to worry about them getting scratched at all. Now, it is a soft case, so I can feel the pens here. If this is something that could be crushed in this format, but it's a really nice case, $155. You really can't go wrong, I don't think. I do wish that they didn't use this tan tape. I don't know, they should have used black or something else. It's a little bit too light, but it also comes in black. I would probably do black if I were to do it again, just because the leather's, it's okay. It's not that nice. So in terms of recommendations, again, for most people, I think that these Lamy and the alternative Pelican cases are really, really good. I honestly use this all the time. It just gets a ton of use. If I could only have a couple cases, though, I would probably pick these two. This is just so well done, and it holds 10 pens really, really nicely. And then this one, very well made, and it has that sort of more rigid protection, which I like. So if you said I could only have two, I would probably pick these, but they're all very good, and they all kind of have their own use. So that is it. Those are my favorite cases for fountain pens. What are your favorite cases? I'd love to hear in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much, and until next time.